Alright, guys, so the kid is back as always to give you my take on this week's episode that aired yesterday. Young Justice returned finally after another hiatus, returned with the 34th episode uh, entitled Satisfaction. There was a lot of keys, or I should say Easter eggs, in this episode, as well as just the whole thing of coming to fruition about the episode, why was it called Satisfaction. So the episode starts off, as always, the dates play a lot. Star City, March 21st. Ollie and the clone Roy Harper bring the original Speedy, or up to speed on what happened to him. And he's let's just put it like that. He's angry. He's mad. He doesn't really blame Clone Roy, but he does blame Ollie. He puts his blame on Ollie as well as Lex Luthor and the Light. But he does blame Ollie because he's like, you gave up on me. You didn't come find me. Everything like that. The clone had to find me. And Ollie's hit hard with that. He's really upset. He goes into a chapel in the hospital chapel and just sits there, and then Clone Roy comes in and just talks to him, like, give him some time, just give him some time. We'll see what happens from there. However, he Ollie goes back to the room. Roy's gone. He escaped. He got out of his hospital bed. So then we move on a couple of hours later to Mount Justice, and pretty much Malcolm Duncan explains to Nightwing and Superboy that Aqualad has set all of Atlantis to look for Aquaman has set all of Atlantis to look for a Lagoon Boy. And however, he expresses his doubts on the fact that they'll find him, because there's a lot of ocean to find. He's also, Mal's also like, you know what, we gotta find Aqualad and make sure he pays for what he's done. We want him dead. And that's when Nightwing just vanishes. You never see where he goes. And Superboy kind of explains, where he's gone and things like that. And that's when we go to the Grotto and we see Tim, Beast Boy, Jaime, and Bart Allen paying a quiet homage to Artemis, and we see in a holographic statue, and we see other statues of other fallen heroes. Now they go on to explain that they're saying why they don't give like a lot of statue, like of other heroes, and they say Jaime says Captain Atom told him that the League didn't want a shrine to their fallen, but he also expressed the doubts that they simply don't want to be advertised as being mortal, like the Justice League. They're the big time. They're godlike, so nobody can stop them. But what the really impressive, which were good to see, was the holographic graves of, we saw Ted Cord in all his homage, which was really good. We saw Tula. We saw Robin, and at first I'm like, who's that Robin? Like, I know Tim did not die, and we saw Artemis down there. But then later on I found out that that was Jason Todd. So there is notion in this series Jason Todd was a Robin at one point. So that was actually kind of good to see. And then Jaime goes on to explain to Bart that everybody else has some kind of legacy to fall back on. Superboy has Superman, Nightwing has this, Tim has Batman, Tim has all those, and even Bart, you got a multiple family of Flash to fly on. But I don't have anybody. I never met Ted Cord. I never got to meet him. He died before I became the new Bleedo. And that was really interesting to showcase as well, like how Jaime feels about his superhero legacy. He doesn't have somebody to fall back on. And you get to see like a kind of a friendship revolve around him and Bart Allen. So then we move to Gotham City, and which is the same date, March 21st, maybe a couple of minutes later, when we see Wally and Artemis's mom at Artemis's so-called grave, paying her respects, mourning her daughter. And in the background, we see Jade with her daughter and Sportsmaster paying their respects. And then we also see basically Jade and both Sportsmaster saying, Jade saying she's gonna go after Aqualad, and pretty much Sportsmaster saying he's gonna confront Black Manta about this as well. So once again, this is showcasing the ramifications of going deep undercover for Aqualad. He's a target, and so my guess is also Dick's definitely got to get involved in this as well. Roy, and then we also see Roy is out of the hospital. He finds Green Arrow's equipment, base in Star City. He gets all the equipment he needs and pretty much goes out to go after. He heads off to Metropolis to seek vengeance on Lex Luthor, and he leaves kind of a present for Roy, the clone Roy, and Ollie. And so we move on a couple hours later in Metropolis, and that's when it starts happening from there. Roy has an RPG rocket launcher, and he shoots it at Lex Luthor. Lex is okay, but he realizes to go after, the assassin. And then from there, it's like so many towns that we go from. From there, we go off to Ivy Town, and Wendy sits down with Connor, wishing him a happy birthday. And she asks him his age, and Connor says his true age, 6, before he reconnects his legal age, he's 22. And she comments like he looks just the same when they first met because of, both his biological and things like that. And of course, the S shield on his shirt. And we kind of see that, they talk more about Megan always threw him a birthday party, but there might be something going on between, because the look they gave after that was like, could Wendy be like really, jonesing for Connor? So that was kind of interesting as well. Then we go off to Dakota City, and we see that Zatanna and Megan are discussing Connor's birthday, and then Megan expressing that she regrets not throwing him a party. Zatanna reassures her that, everything's okay. So they're at Rochelle Rocket's bridal shower. Looks like Rocket's getting married. We don't know who she's getting married to, but all the girls are there, and they're wishing her a toast to Artemis, even though Artemis is supposed to be there. And lo and behold, we see Captain Cold on an opposite building, opposite a bank, beside Rochelle's shower, planning a heist. Now, one thing I was like how kind of husky Captain Cold looked. He was kind of husky, Captain Cold really don't look like that, but it was fine. He looked kind of like Doc Ock. He did like the husky Doc Ock, and he shoots. And later on, we go back to Lex, and Lex is in a parking lot, and that's where Speedy pretty much gets him where he needs to be, and Mercy attacks Speedy. Back to Rochelle, back to Dakota City. That's when the girls confront Captain Cold, and Captain Cold just looks at him like, am I in trouble? And you just see all the girls just standing there like, indeed you are. And then they just attack him, and he screams, which is really funny. So back with Mercy and Speedy, a battle of swords, and Speedy expresses doubts that he might be booby-trapped, but opens in a way like he's really like he's setting all these arsenal traps everywhere for Mercy, and he gets the upper hand on Mercy for a while. and it's really good. And all the way we see Lex with this briefcase in his hand. We don't know what it is, but if we are geeked out, we could have expressed what it was. But yeah. After he gets Mercy out, he puts this explosion like wire around Lex's arm, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna explode it. I'm gonna blow your arm up, just eye for an eye." And all of a sudden, Lex says, you really don't have it in you to do that, and he reassures. After that, we see Ollie and Red Arrow come in, and they get to LexCorp, and they see the Roy come in out, and he basically is standing there with the briefcase in his hand, and they ask him, "Roy, did you?" And he says, "No, I didn't kill Lex." And Red Arrow asks him, what's in the case, and he reveals the famous robotic arm that we all expected he was gonna get sometime later, and he claims that it's gonna make him better. It's better than the version Mercy got and everything like that, and then he rebluffs to Green Arrow's offering from help, and he rejects. And when Ollie says Speedy, he rejects it, and we finally get the name that we all thought he was going to go under. He says he's taking the name Arsenal. So yeah, that was really good. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Like, there was a lot of things that went on in this episode, but we all should have figured that the clone Roy was going to get the name Arsenal. I expected it as soon as he came back. But the theme of the episode, Satisfaction, did explore three primary individuals seeking revenge during this episode. Cheshire wanting satisfaction for the desire to seek revenge on Artemis, taking down Aqualad. Sportsmaster wanting satisfaction, his desire to maintain his reputation by confronting Black Mana, and Speedy, his revenge on Lex Luthor. So that's why the name was called Satisfaction. But I did enjoy this episode. If you've missed it, guys, I will try to find a link where you can watch it. And I'll put it in the description. If I don't put it in now when this video goes up, I'll put it in later. But other than that, you guys tell me what you thought of episode 34 of Young Justice Invasion, entitled Satisfaction. Now I'll catch you guys on the flip flop.